Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to another video. Today I have another decoupage slash upcycling project for you. So this time I decorated and decoupaged this metal tin. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing that I do is degrease and clean the surface. So for this I use methylated spirit. It's the best degreaser that I currently have. So that's what I use. So I just apply a little bit onto this cloth tissue and give everything a really good wipe down. Next I apply my difficult surface primer. As always, all of the products are going to be listed down in the description below, so if you want to see which one exactly I'm using, check out the description. So I applied it to the body of the box and the lid as well, and when I applied it to the body of the box, I made sure to only apply it up to the line where the lid is going to meet the body of the box, because if we start applying paint to that part where the lid meets the box, it's going to become very difficult to close it and you might end up with some paint rubbing away. So we're only decorating the parts that don't overlap each other. Next I went to decoupage the lid of the box. So as you can see, I have this round image. So this is an image that I downloaded from Adobe stock photos, and on my computer I cropped it to a circle and made sure that it was the right size that I needed, and printed it out on my normal inkjet printer using photo paper. The reason why I used photo paper is so that the ink doesn't bleed, and because photo paper is very thick, so to make sure that all of the glue seeps through the paper, I soaked it with water. I left it for about 2-3 minutes, then turned it over, made sure that there's water everywhere, and then left it for another 2-3 minutes. Next I glued on the picture. I used Mod Podge to glue this picture down, so I apply a very generous layer to where I want the picture to go, put the paper on and smooth it out using again one of them cloth napkins. Get all of the air bubbles out, get any excess glue out to make sure that the picture is adhered to the surface really well. And then once I was happy with it, I applied another very generous layer of Mod Podge over the top of the picture and left it to dry. So while I was waiting for the picture to dry, I started getting the rest of the box ready. So I used black gesso to again further prime the tin, and also I wanted a dark base. So black gesso is currently the best black paint that I have, even though it's not paint, it's kind of a primer. Obviously it's gesso and not like acrylic or chalk paint, but it's the best black pigment that I have, so that's what I used and I really like it. It's really good quality. So again I apply it to the body of the tin and on the lid as well, all the way up to the picture. You could definitely use acrylic or chalk paint instead. Then I took this burgundy paint by Little Birdie Craft and I applied it on the body of the tin, and I ended up applying about 3 layers of it. Then the second color that I wanted to use was this kind of light pink, so I just added a little bit of this cream colored chalk paint into my burgundy paint, mixed it all together, and I painted the lid using that paint. Then it was time to add the lines to the tin, so I actually now have some masking tape, so I was able to do it. So I take this masking tape and I just kind of eyeballed it. I didn't try and go like all even, I didn't like measure it out how much space I should be leaving in between. I just kind of eyeballed it, and as you can see I'm also not going all the way up to the top, because at that point I already knew that I was going to add molds to the top and I was going to do the top part in a different color, so I decided not to bother going all the way to the top. Also this is a new masking tape, so I wasn't sure how tacky it is, so it turns out I didn't stick it down too well. So as soon as I applied paint, it bubbled up in a couple of places, so the paint seeped through, so I actually ended up with not a very neat result in the end. So when I took the masking tape off, it didn't look very neat, but there you go, we live and we learn. And so I ended up applying 2 coats of this pink paint over these measured out lines. I have no idea where the footage went from when I took the masking tape off, but after I took the masking tape off, I applied mold. So I just take my Das air drying clay, PVA glue, and my redesign with Prima mold. This is Madame Garland, and so I just put the clay into the molds, take it out, put PVA glue over the top, and then glue them to the top of the tin. And so I go all the way around, doing one side at a time to make sure that if I had too big of a gap in the middle, it was even and it was centered, and I did end up with a gap, and so to fill that gap I just used them little hangy bits from the mold, and then I used my little rope sugarcraft mold to frame the decoupage picture and also serve as a mask for the paper border that you can see. After my molds were dry, it was time to paint them. So as you can see on my decoupage picture, there are little bits of green and blue there. They're not very visible, but I decided to take inspiration from those. So again, I'm using Little Birdie Crafts paint, and so I painted the molds green first. Then I took this blue paint and this acrylic angled brush. The reason why I'm using an acrylic brush is because compared to a natural bristle brush, it will get in a lot more spaces, and that's the effect that I was after when painting the molds. When I went over with the blue, I wanted the layer to be quite heavy. I wanted blue to cover pretty much all of the green so that there was only tiny little bits of green seeping through. And when I was painting the blue, I also kind of ended up smudging it onto the lid and underneath the mold on the body of the tin as well. So then I took the natural bristle brush and black paint and kind of smudged it on everywhere. Again, this is an aging technique, and so I kind of went a bit heavier. The reason why I'm using a natural bristle brush over this, even though I ended up going quite heavy with it, it allows a lot more control over how much paint you apply it. So the amount of black paint that I ended up applying over there was intentional. So then I decided to go a little bit crazy and add gold liquid leaf lines in between my pink and burgundy lines on the body of the tin, and also in the gap between the lid and the molds, and also on the lid. And I freehanded it because I'm trying to kind of train my hands to do better lines. So, and I'm not really worried about it being a little bit wonky, but of course if you wanted to, you could use more masking tape and make sure that you get really straight lines, but I wasn't really after that. And again, you could use any kind of paint for this, whatever you want. The reason why I decided to use liquid leaf is because I only recently got it and I'm a bit excited about using it, so I needed to get it out my system, and the amount of gold leaf that I applied on this tin has definitely helped me do that. Once I was done with the gold leaf, I took more acrylic paint and another natural bristle brush, using vertical strokes kind of in one direction, so starting from top and dragging the paint down. I added a little bit of shadow and again dirt to my lines. Then I decided that the molds were standing out a little bit too much compared to the amount of gold that I've already applied, so I took more gold, Finnabair's vintage gold wax, and so just using my finger I applied it over the molds. And that was most of the decorating done, so I varnished the tin. To varnish it I used Wilco's quick drying gloss varnish, and I ended up applying about 4 or 5 coats to the whole thing. So the trick with a vertical surface like this one is to apply more layers, but make sure that they are thin layers rather than 1 or 2 thick layers of varnish, so that it doesn't drip. So this is what it's looking like after I had varnished it. And I decided to add one last touch, so I took this pearl string ribbon and applied it to the inside of the picture and then on one of the outside parts of the lid. And as you can see, I'm just using hot glue gun to glue it down. If you have a better glue for this, then make sure to use it, because in my experience hot glue isn't the sturdiest of glues to use for this, but that's all I have at the moment. And there we go guys, so this is what it looks like now. To be honest, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to post this. I think I might have looked at it for too long now. I'm at the point where, you know, I look at it and I don't really see it as I imagined it anymore. I don't know, I think I might have looked at it for too long now. I don't know, I was really excited about it and I really like the process, but the end result, I don't know, I'm not sure. It might be a bit too much pink for me, but yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think to this project. Do you like it? Are you gonna try and do something like this on a metal tin that you might have already? Let me know. Let me know your thoughts. But yeah, so as I said, all of the products used in this video are going to be linked in the description below. If you have any further suggestions for a video that you would like me to make, then leave that in the comments as well. If you have any questions, anything like that, also leave those in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like. It really helps out. Subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!